you want an exposure to a market or an
Everything they need in one place.
Be the world's foremost authority on
Individuals, advisors and institutions.
Hello and welcome to Morningstar. I'm Emma Wall and I'm joined today by Helena Morrissey, Chief Executive of Newton. Hello, Helena.
Hello.
So we're here today to talk about women in the city. It's been 45 years since the Equality Act, and yet Sandy Toksvig, well-known BBC personality, has just started a party because clearly not enough is being done. What more can the government do?
Well, I'm not sure it is a government issue, actually. I mean, I think it's quite helpful to have, the excitement of a new party and people asking questions like you're asking about why do we still need that. But I think that this is about broader societal change. Clearly, traditional roles are still, slow to move on. Particularly when women have children, of course, then more often than not, they don't usually leave work, but they take a different path and aren't promoted. And then you get the impression that it's men running the country. So I actually am very encouraged. I think in the last 5 years or so, we've seen a real acceleration and an intensification around the whole talk around the topic and actions being taken. I just think we're not quite there yet in terms of broader society.
I think there are some professionals where women and men are equally represented. Sport, which I know you've had a lot to do with, and unfortunately the city are two where perhaps women are not properly represented. Only 7% of fund managers are women. You're chair of the Investment Association. What more can the city do?
Well, I think partly it's to do with our reputation. We're not necessarily regarded as, the industry that everybody wants to join. And there's a misunderstanding, I think, often, or a lack of understanding about what fund management particularly entails. It's a great career for anyone who wants to be judged on results, man or woman. It means that then you can work flexibly, you can work anywhere in the world, you can give intellectually, as long as you create the results, as long as you create the performance. And that's not always the case in many other industries, of course. And I know that it certainly enabled me to bring up a large family and, become a CEO, quite some time ago now and be able to do quite a lot with my time. We need to get out there and spread that message.
I think that's a really important point because there are so many professions that firefighting, for example, where you have to be on the scene, but fund management and indeed lots of other sort of investment management roles you can do remotely, you can do from home.
Exactly. It's all about judgments and it's about analysis and it's about something that's over the longer term. It's not transaction-based typically. All ingredients of really quite a good environment or an opportunity for say anybody, man or woman, who wants to balance having a great career with also leading other aspects of their life really well.
And I have to ask you about positive discrimination because I think there are a number of initiatives in order to draw women in, but there is a backlash against that, which is that jobs should be given on merit, and positive discrimination obviously is unfairly biased towards women. What would be your answer to that?
Well, I'm very anti-quotas or any kind of legislation to try to sort of force the issue. I think you need to own it and you need to believe in it. I think that what this whole topic and the focus on it in the last few years particularly has highlighted is that the definition of merit, people always say, well, our organisation's a meritocracy and we always promote on merit. But actually then when you throw it back that actually maybe you take 50% at the entry level, but only say 15% of women or 15% of the top roles are occupied by women, then are we saying that women aren't as good, but often then, most people would say that's not the case. It's just our definition, our criteria for what makes a great candidate for a senior job needs to change. It needs to move on from, being part of the club.
So it needs to be about education, both for people looking for jobs and people in those jobs.
Yes, and just rethinking actually, sometimes the impact of diversity can be a positive quality in of itself. The boardroom discussion has moved on because chairmen have said actually it's a better place when we have a more diverse group, including more women. That's part of what makes a good boardroom, makes an effective boardroom, and it's really just broadening the criteria, not just recruiting in your own image, that can really help.
Helena, thank you very much.
Pleasure, thank you.
This is Emma Wall from Morningstar. Thank you for watching.